Hi guys, I'm Jenny Maas here for TheWrap, speaking with David Boreanaz about SEAL Team. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Let's talk about the episode in question that you're directing for this episode.
Yeah.
Can you speak to us for a preview for fans who haven't seen it yet? Where's Jason going in this episode?
Well, it's really an exploration, especially for Bravo Team right now, and as far as him leading Bravo Team into a specific operation that's going on. And prior to that episode, his character Jason and Neil's character Ray get into a bit of an argument that's kind of been festering for some time, and you see the two of them are in conflict and they're kind of really at each other's throats, and at the end of the 20 they get into an actual fight before they actually go out and do the jump, and his parachute does not open, so he ends up on the wrong side of the landing spot where Bravo Team is supposed to hit. We land on the good side, he lands on the bad side, which is the bridge and the piece that's kind of us trying to find him. Now at that time specifically, it's great to see how Jason has to decide at this specific moment when landing. He's got a mission and an operation that he's got to do, and that's what these guys do. And the guys are like, come on, we can't leave Ray behind, we have to go get him. And I'm like, no, he's going to get to the exfil point. He knows what to do when things like this happen. That's what they're trained to do. So I have to push the team to get to their mission, and halfway, and that's really bothering Jason. So it's a tough decision that he has to make early on, and as that progresses, he finds that he's really battling that decision to leave one of his team members, especially Bravo 2, in a situation that's pretty bad. So he decides he's got to go back and find Ray. So they go get Ray, and they check in with Havoc, and they're not too happy about it, but he does get permission from Blackburn. So, and then everything just ensues in trying to get to Ray, and then there's minefields, there's a lot of climbing, there's a lot of dushku hits that they get involved in. There's some horseback riding, I will say. That's pretty exciting. It was a big episode to shoot. We shot it in 7.5 days, and 5 of those days were on location where we had to get a lot of stuff done in a very high remote area in the mountains. And it was a very challenging episode, but it's very rewarding for the characters. I won't say what happens at the end when we do get to them, but it's pretty conflicting, but it's also we do something at the very end, which has never been seen on television ever, and which I'm excited about that. It's an exfil that we do, which was planned specifically for this type of episode. So I'm proud about that. We got that.
Speaking after all of that, what you said, and having seen the episode myself, you've previously directed episodes of Angel and Bones. Directing SEAL Team has to be a giant change of direction, and what's required from that versus what you've done before. And just speaking about this episode alone.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's always been about the characters and about the character driving the plot rather than the other versus the other, regardless of what show it is. Directing is a task you take on. For me, I love being around the crew and bringing the cast together and getting the actors to get to a specific vulnerable part in their journey. So that, coupled with getting the crew to shoot in a specific manner, is always challenging, regardless if it's on Bones or SEAL Team. Now obviously SEAL Team has a little bit more of a different, harder definition when it comes to the action. So yeah, that was challenging, but the pace is always dictated by the director, and for me, I'm always in for the whole crew and cast and getting them to come together to have the characters drive that. So yeah, SEAL Team is more of an adventurous military / a lot of stuff going on, whereas Bones was a little bit more laid back, character driven, in the sense of these two great people exploring the realms of what a forensic anthropologist would do with an FBI guy to solve crimes, and this is guys are going on the most dangerous missions and operations in the world to protect America. And SEAL Team is unique in the fact that it is that drive of that action oriented, but maintaining the character drive is really important for me.
Speaking about that, there's also the B plot in the episode where we talk about Clay and dealing with that, and it's a complete contrast to what's going on. It's much slower, but it's still important, but it's a more deep emotional storyline.
It's a big heartbeat of the storyline because he obviously got injured and he hasn't been with Bravo team for a few episodes, and we see him struggling to get back and rehabilitating his body and his mind to get back to Bravo team. And he, meets up with Stella for the first time, hasn't seen in a while because she hasn't come visited him in the hospital, but she has, but couldn't get to him because she couldn't bear seeing him, like the condition he was in. But yeah, it's a very contrasting image to what Bravo team is going through, what Ray is going through, being chased by the bad guys and terrorists, and what Clay is going through internally. And I thought that was a really unique opportunity to show those colors, especially his journey and how he's dealing with it, and how he wants to deal with Swanee's death, and how Swanee committed suicide. So there's a lot going on in those scenes, but I think they're so important because they layer in some great foundation of emotions, and I thought he did such a great job with those moments.